Hi, everybody. Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my Friday deck chat, tarot chat, lifestyle of a reader chat. My name is Sadhana. I'm an intuitive reader and healer. And today I'm just going to have some fun with decks. And I'm actually going to be back on. There was a tarot tag going around, only 10 mass market decks, and I have already done the tarot version, and this is the oracle version. So I want to say welcome to everybody, and I hope that you have. Oh, that's bizarre because my do not disturb is on. Okay. Um, Welcome. Sorry, distractions, live videos. Here we go. Let's get to the cards. Welcome to Donna and Sharon. And I want to also acknowledge that it is Friday. It is the day of the goddess. And Friday the 13th, I think, is an especially important day to honor women, women in general, the energy of Venus. And so, yeah, I definitely want to acknowledge that. Yes, I decided that if I'm going to start pulling out decks, I'm going to pull them out, Donna. So just so you know, I am going to do so this is the Oracle version of the mass market, and then I'm going to do the indie version of the tarot and the indie version of Oracle. Might not be the order, and then I'm going to also do Lenormand, the Lenormand edition. And so I will do 10 mass market and 10 indie Lenormands. Okay. So that is the plan for today. All right, let's go to the table. Now, this has been, I want to say that the indie version is a little more difficult than the mass market. I have fewer decks on the table, and I'm going to start with, and it's really hard to put these in order, but and I'm going to tell you why decks are near the top and other decks are near the bottom, so to speak. Hello, G. G. Will, maybe your name is Will. Hello, welcome, and welcome to Sunny DD. Um, I'm going to start with this particular deck here, and I have two plant oracles that I will be sharing today. And let's go like this. And they are quite different. I have done quite a few plant oracle deck videos, and this particular one is by Ciolo Thompson. Ciolo Thompson has quite a few oracle and tarot decks out there. I have all of them. Really love the white space that she offers in her decks. This is a great oracle deck for the herb crafter, the forager, the beginning tea maker. This is this guidebook. It's so worthwhile the investment. You get lots of information about when to harvest the leaves, when the flowers, when the roots. There are recipes, there are oracular messages, and there are also connections to the tarot deck, which the Line Strider Tarot, I believe. So it's a really brilliant guide. It's called the Hedge Witches Field Guide, and the cards. So unlike many plant oracles where you get lost in the identification of the plant, right on the front of the card, you have the keyword. You also have the Latin name as well as a common name. So it's very useful, it's very practical, and, because I really do like decks with lots of white space, you're not gonna see too many of them today, but because they when you're doing, when you're using tarot and oracle, I like to have white space. So this is a brilliant deck, and if you're looking for a plant oracle, this is one of 2 that I would highly, highly recommend. Hello to Saskia, nice to have you here, and Erica. Anybody that I have missed. This, like I said, this is so worthwhile. Let me show you one other, um, and you get a large picture of the card as well too. So if you are looking for the plant, I mean, everybody knows what strawberry is, but some of the plants are harder to identify, and so you have a larger picture of what is on the card in the field guide. As well, this is really useful information for me, was that I was not familiar with the name on one of these cards that she had used, went to the field guide, and she had a long list of common names, and I was able to figure out what she was talking about. So that was super useful. So this is definitely a favorite oracle deck of mine. I do not I have only one Hay House deck on the table here today, and this is the one. This is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I think that Jenna Della Grataglia deserves so much more mention than, than she gets in the decks that she has been, collaborating on. And this one of the reasons that this deck is here is that the wisdom of Alberto Vilo get his name wrong. Alberto? Alberto? I don't even know if I don't have the guide here. Alberto Bilodo is, and I follow him on Facebook. He goes broadcast live on Facebook quite a bit. You can tell, that his contribution is just significant in there. This is, I would say, less of a Colette Baron Reid deck than, all of the other contributors, and it's very much in alignment with, everything that I have studied about shamanism, so it's very easy to work with. I love the colors. The guidebook is excellent. It's just, it's deep and mystical. I was so excited when I remember opening this package, and it comes, I don't know if it still comes in a very luxurious package where you have, I mean, it's quite excessive as far as if you're concerned about the environment, because it comes in a box, I think. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. Yeah. You agree with me there, Donna? Yeah, the artists really do. Donna loves this deck as well too. There is a lot of wisdom, and if you are not, if the title shaman, shamanic in a deck um, deters you in any way, know that what we're working with here is energy medicine, energy. And you can learn. There's so much you can learn from a deck like this because Alberto is such a thanks, Audrey, welcome. A great he's a great teacher. And I would also highly recommend listening to him on Facebook. He's very calm and wise. He's spent so much time with um, the actually quite a few different indigenous groups in South America. He's just a wealth of information. Yeah. So this is definitely a favorite. And I would have used this in lieu of Enchanted Map in my card of the year readings. I hadn't had the Shaman's Oracle on the table. This is another mass market deck with Shaman in the title. And it is by John Matthews and artwork by Will Kingham. Now, one of the reasons that I have done a video on this in detail and how to work with it and how to use it is because of its layers and um, there's just so many different ways to work with it. Probably can't see the details in the guidebook here, but there are subgroups of cards. And these groups of cards are connected with elements as well as chakras, and it just works really, really well for me. I I love the oracular messages. So it's like the cards have a message from themselves that speaks to you. And then, so there's a message from the card, and then how to work with the card kind of information. Beautifully, beautifully written book. John Matthews, if you have never seen him speak, is a wonderful voice to listen to. Um, I'm a big fan of John Matthews, and there is another deck that would be here, except it's a little harder to work with, and that is the Moon Tarot of the She, something like that. He's a bit of a She expert, and I would recommend any any books by him or his wife, Kathleen. They're really something, and these, uh, paintings, the artwork is based on, glyphs that came from, um, I'm not gonna say where because I don't have the guidebook in hand, but this is not, the artwork is based on original glyphs that were found in the stones, okay? And this is what he does. His work with the sheet also is based on a bit of archaeology, and he has been deep into the earth and had experiences where he has been, in contact with the sheet with the she glyphs and what they have left behind. So he's just an incredible, incredible resource. Nari Anastasia is somebody that I would love, love, love to interview on my channel, and she said that she would, and I feel badly that I haven't gotten back to her. I believe she also has a new deck out, which I haven't looked at, and, I work with both Cosmic reading cards and the Blue Messiah reading cards. These are the Blue Messiah. I leave them out, frequently in my healing space. I find that this is such a unique card. I love this card, and I would never get rid of this deck. I find that these cards tap into exactly what people need who are coming for a healing session. I love the artwork, her descriptions in the guidebook. So in both the Cosmic Reading cards and the Blue Messiah, there are chakra associations, I believe, as well too, if you work with the chakras. And it's also very intuitive. This particular card has had a lot. I've had a lot of beautiful messages from this card, and there's something about the leading from the heart space that speaks volumes here. It's really magical. It's very high frequency and it's very transformative. It's versatile. I don't feel that it is, I mean, even though the guidebook is excellent, there's just so much gorgeous energy. And I think that's what I like in Oracle decks. I need to feel the energy of the cards. All right. So I don't know what number we're at. I have more than 10, and I'm also wanted to put a little caveat in here that I will not be sharing more than one deck from any given creator. Okay. Now, I say that, and this is two decks, but this is not the complete two decks. This is Soul Cards by Deborah Koch Chapin, and these are on my table all the time now because I have numbered and ordered them and put them into, made them into a tarot deck. But I don't think that a top 10 mass market Oracle video could be made without her work and her work with touch drawing, touch life drawing. It's very, very powerful. I shared another one of her decks released on Wednesday evening the newer Oracle deck, Portals of Presence, which has a different vibe, but her work is definitely worth checking out. If you've never heard of Deborah Koff-Chapin, she's been doing this for a long time. Very, very, we're not counting. Uh, it's just the work that she does is amazing, and she has other teachers now in her and has for some time in her, touch group that do this work as well too. This was an amazing project. Of course, I shared this in a video, and I know a few of you did this as well too. That was to take Soul Cards 1 and Soul Cards 2 and to make the tarot deck, which means many of the cards get left behind. But this was a brilliant exercise for me, and it means that these decks are now out on the table. And what I probably will do, you can see I wrote on black Sharpie, but I am probably going to get a gold or a silver Sharpie on top of that because I haven't memorized my 78 cards yet. Yeah. So just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful oracle to work with both as an oracle deck, um, and I would strongly recommend the um, tarot card project. All right. I am a big fan of the Druid craft series. Love, 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 uh, all of them. The tarot deck, the plant oracle, the animal oracle. But there's something really magical about Druid plant oracle, and one of the things is, and of course I don't have a book here. This is the box. I believe it only comes in a large box, which is great because, believe me, you want the large guidebook that goes with this. Because it is full of historical wisdom, tells the story of how plants have been used historically um, for magic, for medicine, and the art is just so gorgeous. Now, this is a trimmed version. I did take off the big border on the outside. There, there's layers to these cards. The backgrounds are beautiful, and so something as well too that connects beautifully with I wanna say any kind of outdoorsy tarot deck. He says, "Sorry, Sadhana, I'm not looking at the video because I don't want to see others' choices." Okay. So this is, I believe I used this last year in the year meeting, and if you look at the background, the distance of the nettle, we have there's a standing stone there, and there's a snake. And so there's layers, and it's a really great plant oracle, but it also has into, I don't know, any sort of green witchery, this is just, a brilliant, brilliant this is one of my favorite cards, and you'll recognize that the Wildwood Tarot has a card very similar to this, you know, where you look into the distance from, into the distance into a waterfall and just imagine going through, and it reminds me of the scene actually in Merlin, which was a TV series that I very much liked. So I strongly, strongly recommend this plant oracle as well too. Now this is very different from the other plant oracle that I, first put on the table. One is about the magic, the mystery, and the history, and one is a practical guide, okay? Alright. Yeah. All right. So I want to go to a newer deck, which I did a video of recently. This is my card, or our card for the week, What the Worm Knows. And this is the Cantigate Oracle with the amazing stories by Ray Diamond and art by Laura Zusapan. And I am using this deck right now in my Facebook group. So in my Facebook group on Wednesday evenings, I have a bit of a, I'm going to call it a satsang. I don't know if there is a translation for satsang in um, English, but what happens on Wednesday nights is I find a card of inspiration and I talk about it. I share stories and do a reading, an inspired reading. And I really enjoy my Wednesday nights. It's very quiet and beautiful. Mm, mm, yeah. I'll show you the book in a second. Very original key phrases, and I went through the whole deck. The other thing about this deck is that there is a waxing and waning energy to the cards, and so the cards are divided into those two themes, and there are also 52 cards, so you could also study with this deck over the course of a year, and I like that. I like when there is much like in the Shaman's Oracle, when there's a system that is built in. It provides a structure and it provides a way to work with and understand the cards beyond the level of um, simply just working with. Isn't that interesting? Those two cards came up together. The two cards that are doing these splits. That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to show you the book, and I'm hoping it's handy here because I did clean off my table. It's a tome, believe me. So it's a very thick book. And if you go to number 6, which is every star is a doorknob. I love that. I can't say I have had a card that I don't like. Now, this story is quite short. Some of them are very long. There is a story that's in italics that is written by Ray, and you can see there are lots of subsections, ways to work with each of the cards, journal prompts, and so I think this is probably the most uh, thorough. This is a huge endeavor. Um, I think this oracle is going to help a lot of a lot of people. Yeah. Mm. So hmm, I'm just reading some of your comments. Sorry, I need to focus on the cards, but I love reading it. Okay, so that's the Cantigate Oracle. Another deck that has a system that I've worked with for years, and I was talking about this a little bit last Wednesday, is the Wisdom Keepers Tarot by Rosie Aronson. Several years back, I was working with the Gene Keys. I was doing my it was a personal study. I did a deep dive into the Gene Keys, trying to so the Gene Keys encompasses astrology, it's a little bit like human design, there's a lot to it, and the I Ching as well too, and so there's also a black and white version, so the deck first came out in black and white, smaller cards, with a border, and then a year later, the colored version of the deck came out. And I just found the black and white version. I really wanted it. I had no idea that it was smaller, unfortunately, but there's a lot of detail in each of these pictures. The the way that the guidebook is designed to work with the gene keys is that and you don't need to know anything about the gene keys to work with the deck. It's just a bonus if you're interested in human design or the I Ching, because it's all connected. Everything is connected, right? And so on the keyword on the card is she refers to it as the gift. the gift of the particular, um, hexagram or gene key. And there also is a shadow, and so the shadow of each card is discussed, on its page. There is a story, and these particular souls are not meant to be any one person. They are a blending of people who have been through similar journey. And it's a very powerful deck to work with clients, with your own journey, and if you're interested in, um I also this is interesting. So there is a Tao Oracle. After I was working with this deck, I went and bought the Tao Oracle, and for a period of time, I worked together. As, it's the same, it's energetically the same thing, the I Ching and the gene keys. There's 64 hexagrams, 64 gene keys. And it's kind of fun too because you will recognize and see familiar faces in some of them. And there are so many details on these faces, little symbols and things to look at. Rosie talks a lot about these cards. So last Wednesday when I featured this deck, I put a link up to her YouTube page. So it's really cool. All right, so that is the Wisdom Keepers Oracle, and there are coloring books, lots of material that goes with this. She also teaches with Richard Rudd, the founder of Gene Keys founder. Okay. All right. I'm just doing a little bit of a survey on my table. Amber is here. Welcome. Uh, to see what we have left. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm going to go here next. 4, 5. Oh, I got this one too. 6. Okay, I have 6 left, and I wanna say these are the top 6. These are the top 6, not in a particular order, and hopefully I haven't forgotten anyone. So these are the, yeah, top 6 mass market oracles according to Sadhana at this time. Most of these have been mm. This is the Messenger Oracle by Raven Fallon. One of my criteria for an oracle deck is that it is not too saccharine. I love to see a mix of cards that deal with um, both light and shadow. I did purchase the newer version of this deck. So this deck now comes in a borderless version. It is more saturated. The colors are brilliant. They're very, very bright. And I actually prefer this one. It's a little softer, a little more muted, but it's the same deck. New version of the deck has a few more cards as well too. This is it's the Messenger Oracle by Raven Fallon, who is the creator of the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which I haven't worked with. Um, so this one I have, and it looks like a bit of a fade, but it's so much more than that. And again, lots of cards that evoke profound energy. And we have as many cards about strength as we do about loving kindness. And there are some challenging cards as well too. Love this particular card. Any deck that has jaguars in it, I just feel so beautiful. I love jaguar energy. This is the symbol of death in shamanism. It's the symbol of the warrior crossing the rainbow bridge. It's a wonderful, wonderful symbol. Um, maybe one day, if I ever get through deep dives of my many, many tarots, I will. Yep. And God, I don't think it will go out of print anytime soon, um, because I would love to learn more about her through her deck. And you can see there's cards. So this one looks like very similar to the Jaguar card. So these look really beautiful in a spread. Um, my favorite pairing with this one is Tarot of the Hidden Realm, but it goes well with other decks as well too, as well as reading brilliantly on its own. Mm. I believe I did a side by side with the two versions. I no longer have the borderless version, but if you look at my channel, you can see the side by side of Messenger Oracle border and borderless. Mhm. All right. One of the oracles that I spent a long time with in a Facebook group, get this box open first, um, is Kim Kranz's Archetypes. I do not have the Alchemy deck. I don't, and I won't be buying it. I've looked at it a few times, um, which is a surprise to a lot of people because I have multiple copies of the Wild Unknown Tarot. We had such great discussions with these archetypes, and I of all of Kim's guidebooks, this one is by far the best. I love the way that she links in the energy of these archetypes. The archetypes are not just human archetypes. So there are concept archetypes. Um, there are some familiar ones like the eternal child and so forth, the crone, the warrior. But there are others that are not human archetypes, like the fault one, the stone. And she does, and then there's a section of ones that are more etheric, if you will, the bardo. Or so she does a great job in the guidebook, and I would if you're um, it blends really well with a lot of other decks as well too. I believe I did a video when I was sharing her um, autobiography, which is called um, Bones and my goodness. I'm sorry if somebody remembers her autobiography. I did a video, and I believe I shared a bunch of her decks, and I talked about pairing them as well too. Um, that is an amazing book. If you are looking, especially if you know anyone who has been working through uh, self-esteem issues that have manifested in anorexia or bulimia or anything like that. It's a wonderful journey to healing to read her very personal journey through all of that, um, and how all of that was impacted by divorce, among other things. Thank you, Pax. Yes, blossoms and bones. So this is definitely in my top 5, and top 6? Top 6, and I have I have 4 more that I'm gonna share with you. Mhm, and I'm gonna show you something I did. I don't know if I've shared this since I did it, but I etched it. Yeah, I etched And some people wonder about shuffling round oracles. This one is a little clunkier than the Cantigate, but it is possible. So I can wrap my hands around it and shuffle it. I'm reaching right now, so it's not going to be an easy shuffle, but it's definitely shuffleable. And I'll show you the size in contrast with Cantigate. So there's Cantigate, and this one is a little bit smaller. And the cardstock is thicker, Um, so I want to say this one is easier to shuffle. Just right, quite a different sized deck. Okay, this is a trimmed version of the Sacred Rebels. Now, this deck is now available in as a borderless version. I believe it has extra cards as well too, but this is an older version of the deck. And I decided I was only going to share one Alana Fairchild deck, and this is the one that I picked. I feel that this one has affected many people that I have worked with deeply, and I have recommended this deck for for people who have been struggling and are curious about using oracle decks. It is really powerful. Alana Fairchild writes an amazing guidebook. One of my favorites is the Rumi Oracle, but I think this is a more well-rounded deck that can do some deep work and deep healing with for people. And the artwork is gorgeous. I have never met the artist. She lives here, very near to where I am. And Autumn, I just want to make sure I get her last name right. Yes. So Autumn Sky Morrison, who is the artist of this deck, um, is not, she's not a First Nations person, but she is so deeply connected to their energy. And a lot of her art, um, it's like she understands the land, people, animals. It's incredible. I wanna say that I chose this deck equally for Autumn's artwork as I did for Alana's, um, guidebook style. And this is not a deck that you would do more than 1 pull 1 card at a time. I don't recommend with Alana Fairchild guidebooks that you do that. It's a 1 card pull, it's a deep study. I would say take it for a couple of days or a week. They're very moving, very moving. Welcome to Liz. Welcome to Liz. Yes, I also, um, Liz shared the we are both, fans of the Liz is West Star Tarot. We are both fans of the We Moon Collective. I've shared my guidebook many times or my journal many times on this channel. And the We Moon has finally published a tarot deck, and Liz shared that recently. That was the video that really caught my eye. I'm hoping to have my hands on that deck very soon. It's multiple artists as in the journal. So this is Sacred Rebels, and it's incredible. It is a bit of a task trimming an oracle deck that I did, and I also edged this one in navy blue. Um, yeah, Sacred Rebels. I have so this is Rock Pool, correct? Sacred Rebels is Rock Pool, I believe. No, it's Blue Angel. It's Blue Angel. Okay. Right, so I have 2 Blue Angel decks, and I don't know if you can guess what the other one is. It is, a very unique deck. This one is not trimmed. This one came borderless, and it has yes, really, a Wee Moon Tarot. The colors on this deck are I've never seen anything like it. The color palette in so this is called Whispers of Lord Ganesha. Whispers of Lord Ganesha. And those of you that are familiar with Angela Hartfield, you know that she writes a great guidebook, and the artist, I will credit the artist's name is also very familiar, and off the top of my head, I can't think what other decks I have of hers. Her name is Katerina Golovanova. Golovanova. Katerina Go I'm sure I have another deck by her. D. And, you would think this is just a root chakra deck. This is so much more than that. Um, I don't know how much you know about Lord Ganesha, um, and the myths and the stories, and it's just it's a great, great energy to work with. The keywords are excellent if you again, this is another deck that has chakra associations, it has chakra cards. Sometimes when a deck has chakra cards, I actually remove them. There's a I'll talk about that more a little bit later tonight. I find that there are other cards that speak to the frequency of the chakras. Chakra cards can be a little bit redundant, but there's this color palette is just so intriguing, and this is one of my favorite cards. Eyes, I absolutely love eyes. Yeah, this is I need to get this deck out and leave it out. Um, it's very protective, very it's not confronting, and when I'm working with people, I don't want to scare them or, um overdo it with the kind of messages that come through. A lot of people when they're having readings are quite vulnerable, and I find this deck very, um, it it can have some hard messages, but it delivers it in a compassionate way. I don't like decks that freak people out, you know? We don't need to be freaked out. We need it can be off-putting, and so this is a great, great. Mhm. I have a photo of Samantha. We were at a temple in Madurai, and this at the temple, there was an elephant that came in, and people could receive darshan with the elephant and have their head touched by the elephant. It was really kind of powerful. So, yeah, brilliant, 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 and you can see this is the, Agnya chakra card, right? The third eye symbol. Okay. So that is Whispers of Lord Ganesh. And these top 6 are not in any particular order. These are just favorite top 6 decks. Now, this one, I have a couple of Michelle Motuza's decks. And this one is called Shamanic Healing. I'm sure you all know this deck. One of the reasons that this deck skips so far to the front of the line is its versatility. The colors are extremely versatile, and they blend beautifully with an abundance of tarot decks. I would not necessarily call this a Shamanic deck. It's an earth-centric deck. It includes I also have a video of this one if you wanna look at it, and I believe I did a side-by-side comparison and a discussion. There's a few videos. I think I have one on this on its own, and also a side-by-side comparison with the Empathic Oracle, which is another Michelle Machu's deck, and I actually prefer this one to the Empathic. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. Um, the version that I have, the keywords are a little bit hard to read on some of the cards, but it's fine. Uh, love the messages. The guidebook is well written. It is very intuitive, so you don't really need the guidebook. And I have to say, I love one of the things that um, Amy shared. So after I did the Cantigate Oracle video, and so this is a new for me, this one, new deck, very old deck, had this a long time. I had not read the guidebook other than a few pages, and when I did the part of the year readings, and then when I did the walkthrough, I mean, I kinda went through the guidebook. I knew about the waxing and waiting, I read a few cards, but not and I want to spend time with an oracle and getting to know it before I dive deeply into because it's, because sometimes uh, I want my own impression to be formed before an impression of the creator, and it's not very often, but sometimes what I pick up in a card is not the same as what the creator had intended, and I don't know any creators who are gonna say, "Well, that's wrong, don't do that." I mean, all oracles are created for you to read however you want to read them. Um, but what Amy said was that that video was a reminder to really spend time with the cards before you crack into that little white book. Yeah. Funny how I love the Lord Ganesh deck, but absolutely hate the Chimp Magician and the Lion Strider and the Marielle. You are right, Donna. I also don't really like the Chimp Magician and the Lion Strider, and the 8 is, on that black and white parquet, I don't know if that's the right thing, that black and white checked floor. That's a very difficult card for me as well too. Yeah, I know the cards you're talking about. Mhm. Um, the other thing here too is that there's something to me, this looks like chalk paintings, and maybe this sounds funny, but there's something in the simplicity of the chalk paintings that makes the artwork accessible. And this is something I was trying to tap into earlier, and that is it I like to give the querent, the clients, an opportunity to look at the art and to feel the art. And especially if I open with an oracle, sometimes I close with an oracle. Um, it is, it's a great way to involve the person that you're reading for, if you're reading for another. So Donna is referring to the video I did where I compared both of 2 of Michelle's decks, and, she ended up liking the okay. Well, glad that video was helpful. Yes, the baboon, okay. Alright. Now, you will I don't think anybody will be able to guess what the last oracle deck is. I know you've seen it. Some of you will have seen it in the description box below. Um, but honest to God, I love this deck. This deck makes me so happy. I have a large collection of Rockpool and US Games little tiny, decks in those magnetic boxes, and this one is my absolute favorite. I interviewed a call Pritam some time back and just really, really connected with, uh, really connected with her. And her self-love journal is really, really something. This little mini deck is one of the best valued ones because not only do you get unique art on every single card, but the backs of each of the cards is also fully illustrated. Um, and it's, ah, I told you that I have a little altar by my front door. And on that little altar by my front door, I switch up the because I have a lot of these decks, I switch them up, but this is the one I pull out the most frequently. And you know what? It's because this is such an important theme, and this might not be the everyone's aesthetic, but this theme is so important. Um, it's so important to find messages of release, and it can be really, really hard for people. So on the back of the cards, there is a message, and I just want to show you that they're not the the art is similar, but it's not the same on the backs of every card. So when you buy these decks, they're very, very different. Some of them, even the fronts and the backs are all the same, and just the words are changed. So this one is great, great value for the amount of art that you get. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to shuffle this deck, and I'm gonna draw a card, and that's how I'm going to close today. So these are my top 10 plus mass market oracle decks. Okay. This one is on uncoated paper as well too. Um, it is well loved. I have, yes, I also have the Frida Kahlo one, and it's beautiful. I prefer the two little decks. I have a Call's Self-Love Oracle as well too. It's not one of my favorite decks, but this one sure is. I also want to acknowledge there's a lot that's going on in the sky today. A lot of significant planetary movement. And for the astrologers in the chat, I was feeling horrible yesterday. I felt like somebody died. You know, that feeling, that weight, it was just awful, and I couldn't shake it. And I've had that feeling a couple of times, in the last 10 days. But I feel much better today, so something has definitely shifted in the astrology. Alright, so this is for all of you on this 13th day, this Friday, the 13th of January, 2022, and let us honor Venus. Let us honor the divine feminine, and for those of you that identify as male or uh, non-binary or some other gender that is completely irrelevant here, let uh, softness, sweetness, receptivity of your human experience shine through on this Friday, in honor of those who stood in defense of women, um, the feminine energy through all directions of time. The significance of this deck, the importance of this deck has to do with not carrying the weight of your world on your shoulders all the time and understanding the magic and the medicine of letting go. This is a practice that we must do every single day. Let go of something, tangible objects, feelings. It's not easy. So I draw this card for all of us. I've had this card so many times. And I'll read you the message. Let go of the idea that you need to have anything other than happiness in your life. Of course, I would edit this and change happiness to contentment. To me, there's a little bit more of peace, quiet with the word contentment. Happiness seems to have a range to it, you know, happy, sad, happy, sad. So I think I would like to offer that. Let go of the idea that you need to have anything other than contentment in your life. Mm. Oh my goodness. This is me. This is me. That's the next card. All right. So that is a wrap for now. I will be back at 4 p.m. today with the indie version of this video, and there will be many more than 10 decks. Take good care. I'll see you soon. Namaste.